first D&D session is like the pilot episode of a TV show. It sets the tone, it introduces the story, and it gives your players a taste of everything that your game will have to offer. So how do you craft a session that hooks your players and sets up an epic adventure? Stick around because I'm about to show you how to make your first D&D session a hit. Welcome back to Riddle and Roll. I'm Dan, and whether you're a brand new Dungeon Master or just looking for tips to improve, you've come to the right place. Today, we're talking about what your first D&D session should include to set up a great campaign. If you've ever wondered how to balance combat, roleplay, and exploration in that first session, I'm going to hit some of that as we go along. Think about your favorite TV shows. The first episode usually introduces the main character, sets the tone, it gives you a preview of what to expect. Action, drama, comedy, mystery, whatever the show is about. Your first D&D session works the same way. It's not just an introduction to the story where characters are saying their name and their species. It's an introduction to the kind of game that you're running. Are you aiming for high-stakes drama, lighthearted humor, or a mix of everything? Then your players should walk away from that first session kind of knowing what kind of adventure they've signed up for. Every good D&D adventure has three main elements to it. You're going to have combat, you're going to have some social encounters, and then there's going to be some exploration, stepping out into the unknown and learning some things that then inform combat and social encounters. I want to break those down a bit and talk about how to include all three in your first session. Combat, it's the action, fighting goblins, dodging traps, escaping from a collapsing dungeon. For the first session, keep the combat simple because we're likely very low leveled, but you also want it to be exciting. A skirmish with these bandits, an ambush on the road, or a wild animal attack are great choices, making that first combat memorable, but not making it too complex. You want your players to learn how combat works without getting overwhelmed by mechanics. They may just have one turn in this combat, but it's their first attack roll. It's their first time they use a spell. They get to see these other characters at work. Social encounters are the conversations, talking to NPCs, gathering information, role-playing their characters. These moments let your players connect with the world and make decisions beyond just rolling dice. So, introduce an NPC with a clear goal, like a town elder who needs help or a suspicious merchant hiding a secret. Something where it's like maybe a little bit obvious, but just lets your players step into who's going to be the person that talks to this guy. What are they going to say? What type of relationship are they going to try to build? And then exploration. It's about discovering the unknown. Whether it's searching a room for treasure, following clues, navigating a forest, your first session doesn't need a sprawling dungeon with an epic maze of rooms, but give your players a chance to explore something interesting. A mysterious cave, an ancient ruin, some cryptic map that can spark curiosity and set the stage for the larger adventure. Here's some simple structure for your first session that's going to incorporate all of those elements. You want to start with some type of hook. Start with something that draws the party together and sets them on a common path. Maybe they're hired to guard a caravan, they might be hired to investigate some strange disappearances or retrieve a stolen artifact. Just keep it straightforward with a simple goal that everyone can agree upon. Then, stage 2, some type of conflict. Introduce a problem that requires action. Bandits start attacking the caravan, or a monster is terrorizing a village. There's some strange puzzle blocking their path. This is where you introduce some combat or some type of challenge that they can then collaborate on and tackle together. Third, think of some form of twist. After that initial problem, reveal something that hints at a larger story. Maybe the bandits were carrying some strange symbol. The artifact is cursed, or the monster came from a nearby ruin. Then lastly, some type of resolution. Give your players a small victory after that first session that makes them feel like, oh, we did it. A clear next step after as well. Maybe they rescue the caravan, or they drive off the monster, and they learn where to go next. End with some type of cliffhanger then, or intriguing question to keep them excited for that next session. A few quick tips to make that first session smooth and fun. 1, keep it short and focused. You can maybe aim for a 2 to 3 hour max so that players don't feel overwhelmed. Next, set expectations. Talk to your players beforehand about the tone and the style of the game. Third, and this one's big, be flexible. Your players will surprise you, so roll with their choices and adapt the story to kind of go along with the direction that they're taking it. They are just as important as the DM, as co-writers to this story, so weave them in, incorporate them. And lastly, end on a high note. Leave your players excited for what's next, even if it's just a hint of danger or some tantalizing clue. Give them something that has them waiting and anticipating that next session when they get back together. Your first D&D session is your chance to show your players what makes this game special: the action, the story, and the freedom to explore. Focus on creating a balanced session that highlights combat, social encounters, and exploration, and you'll have your players hooked from the start. Thank you for watching. If this video helped, please hit the like button, subscribe for more tips for Riddle and Roll, and let me know in the comments, what was your first D&D session like? And if you're running one soon, what's your plan? I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to interact with you as I learn how you guys are starting playing D&D, and even the stories of when you first started too. Until next time, may your adventures be epic and your rolls be high.